time for another installment of the basics, and if you remember my last episode, I showed you how in regards to the Star Trek CCG, you can't really do a deck of 60 cards or less and hope to win a game. Today I'm going to show you how a deck of around 60 cards actually works in the X-Files CCG, and I'll show you how many of each card type a standard tournament deck will have. So let's get started, shall we? Now, whereas with some other CCGs, a deck that only has 60 cards or less doesn't make a lot of sense, in the X-Files CCG, a deck that has around 64 to 68 cards is just perfect to play a game, whether it be house rules or a tournament. Now, I've used X-Files CCG decks in the past that I've constructed that have had this number of cards. I don't have one made up right now because I'm in the process, but the deck I'm going to show you has roughly between 64 and 66 cards, and it is the perfect size. And with the X-Files, the composition is a lot different than most CCGs. So as we get started here, and you've heard me say this on previous episodes as well, the number of agents in a deck should be around 4. You can have 1 or 2 more, you can try to get away with less, but 4 is the happy number, the medium if you will, to help get you through the game. Sites, 16 is a nice round number for sites. You'll see a lot of tournament decks that use between 14 and 18 sites. You need a lot of sites if you're planning on investigating and getting to that X-Files card. So 16 is a perfect number. You can use duplicates. I actually encourage people to use doubles of sites. Comes in very handy. Now, one half of the mainstays in this game, and these would be Adversary and Bluff cards. Your split is around 4 Bluffs and 8 Adversaries. Now that might not seem like a lot, but it is the perfect amount for a constructed deck. They will come in handy, and if you are playing a successful game, you probably won't have to use all of them, even if they come up in your draw deck. And finally, equipment and events. Now here's a bonkers number for you, because you're going to look at it and go, wow. 4 equipment compared to 30 events. Now, you don't need a lot of equipment in this game. And I've said in previous shows, equipment can be anywhere from 2 cards to about 10 at the most. That happy number being 4 to 6. Event cards are the main cards in the X-Files CCG that make it go around from turn to turn. Remember, 30 is not a high amount because you can play 3 cards per turn. And you're going to need your event cards to move the game along, stimmy your opponent, get things going, investigate, all sorts of things. Event cards are the bread and butter of any X-Files CCG deck. So anywhere from, I'd say, 28 to 34 is normal. 30 is your happy number. 4 equipment is more than enough. But as I've mentioned in previous episodes as well, you have to choose your equipment wisely. It can't just be randomly 4 pieces of equipment. But that is your happy medium in, say, a 64 to 66 or 68 card deck. Those are the numbers you want to work with. You just have to choose your cards wisely depending on the type of deck you're building. That's the more important part aside from the numbers. Now, I know someone out there is going to say, oh, you left out witness cards, you left out combat cards, you didn't talk about this. Combat cards are mainly for the advanced game. Everything I do on this show in regards to the X-Files CCG focuses on the basic game. That being said, not every deck needs witness cards either. They're not always useful. These are the core 6 classes of cards you're going to use in your deck in the X-Files CCG. It's really that simple. As long as you have the numbers of cards down, as well as the cards you need for that type of deck you are building. That is also integral. Have a great day, everybody.